What up, Street Talks? Okay, another thought. So this was one thought, that pain and suffering is good. Pain, difficult, challenge, whatever is good. So I'll give you an example. I'm currently walking around and I'm just wearing a t-shirt and it's a little bit on the cold, chilly side, and so it's probably enough to give me goosebumps and enough for me to walk around with putting my hands in my pockets. So one thing I learned from the Stoic philosophers or the Cynic philosophers, my homeboy Diogenes, it's basically good for us to allow ourselves to be a little bit cold for certain periods of times in order to activate our body's physiological strength and power. And even for myself personally, I've been a religious cold water showerer for the last like 5 or 6 years. I think it's improved my immune system or just my overall well-being and my physiological strength, whatever. And it was interesting because I was thinking about it. When you're cold, you're actually like in some sort of pain or some sort of level of stress or some sort of difficulty or unpleasantness or whatever it may be. But then the funny thing about this type of cold is I could literally experience this type of cold where it's like not that cold, and there's still some nice sunlight, so it feels good. But compared to being in like a 74 degree heated room, I'm actually like a little bit cold or painful or suffering right now in terms from a physiological response, enough to give me like goosebumps or my body shivers a little bit. But anyways, the funny thing is this is actually a good thing for me, because when I'm a little bit cold or whatever, it actually activates your body's like physiological response, where your body might shiver a little bit, it might activate itself a little bit, it might wake up itself a little bit in order for you to really enjoy your body's defense mechanism or whatever. So for example, when I'm actually stuck indoors all day, and technically I'm not in any sort of pain, like I'm just chilling at the house, whatever, that's actually when I'm like the most asleep. And when it's too warm or when it's whatever, I actually feel like sleepy and I just kind of go to sleep. Whereas if I take a cold shower or experience some sort of like small like even if I'm working out, you're actually going through some sort of low level of pain, it actually kind of wakes you up. It gives you this physiological response where you're more active, you're more awake, you're more empowered, whatever it may be. And so it's such an important idea to me, because my personal goal is I want to maximally become as physiologically strong as I can and to maximally thrive as much as I can. And so it's kind of an interesting idea for me to, how's it going? For me to personally just kind of like stay awake and to stay motivated. And it looks like all of us, we want motivation. What is motivation? Motivation literally means to move. Movement is a source of everything. Movement is a source of money. Movement, like we could think about movement in terms of like very metaphorical terms or just like physical terms. So even now, being able to walk, right? Being able to walk, to be human to me is to walk. We're bipeds for a reason. The reason why humans have evolved to become bipeds, to Homo erectus, like to be erect, to stand on our 2 legs, then Homo sapiens, we got a smart brain. So it seems like first humans, we developed our legs and our ability to stand upright, and then our brain kind of developed a little bit later for us to become more intelligent. So certainly at least in terms of our genetic DNA biological functions, we are happiest and we thrive most when we move a lot. And so it's, what's the point of being a human? The point of being a human, like any biological organism, we want to reproduce, we want to procreate, we want to conquer more, become more. And it seems like movement is essential for that, because if you move, you could procure more resources, you could procure more power, you could, whatever. You could conquer different lands and spaces and, you know, stuff like that. And so for me, pain is actually a good stimulus for movement. So we even know that, like, for animals, if you want an ox to do something, you have to whip it, right? You know, not to say that humans are are just like these base animals, but some low levels of pain are actually good stimuluses for us to move and actually to be happier. Like, let me give you an example. When I'm stuck in home all day, I feel the pain of like feeling like cabin fever or ennui or boredom or listlessness or just kind of like generalized stress, anxiety, whatever. And then that pain is the trigger to motivate me to go out and go for a walk. And now that I'm walking and I'm vlogging and talking with you, I'm like a fucking 10 trillion quadrillion times happier right now. Or even when I'm out making photos, you know, I'm moving my feet, I'm moving my fingers to shoot the shutter, or even when I'm making drawings or illustrations, you know, I'm using my finger to draw on my iPad or whatever it may be. When I'm typing out words, I'm moving my fingers to, so like movement is key. So it looks like, this is my thought. Pain is kind of the trigger for us to move, and the more we move, generally the happier we are. So we don't want to become like the WALL-E people where we just kind of sit in those hover chairs all day and just kind of have to do none. We humans, our ambition is to augment our ego, our physical strength, our grandeur, and for us personally to, you know, become the most epic human beings we can, to create the most epic children we can, and then hopefully propagate the race of humanity, Homo sapiens, indefinitely into the future to become the most epic species that the universe has ever known.